Hey guys, welcome back to the shop for S&S 39. My name is Adam. Alright guys, been a pretty good week this week. This week, October the 8th, I turned 35 years old. Keep getting older. So I had a good birthday. Didn't really, celebrate a whole lot. I don't make a big deal about my birthday, but I did celebrate by buying me one of my favorite steaks and grilling it. That was my birthday present to myself. I also got me some new work boots, which I needed. They're not even here yet. I had to order them online, but I had a good birthday, and I had a lot of good birthday wishes out there for all you guys that follow me on Facebook. Thank you for sharing those posts with me. Appreciate that. And I've actually got another birthday gift here that was dropped off by surprise. I'll share with you. But so let's see. First thing that you're probably noticing is this stuff here next to me, the coolant pump off the Monarch there. So seeing that probably means that the it's not hooked up on the lathe yet, and it's not. I've just had past couple weeks I've just had a lot going on. I've been busy both in the shop, at work, and other things going on that we've been having to take care of, and it's just been really busy. That's another reason why I didn't get to make another machining video this past week and throw up there on YouTube for you. Just didn't have time to do it. I'm trying to get work done and get some small jobs done, things like that. So this week, what I decided to do was show a little bit of machine work. Since the last two episodes, we haven't really been showing much machine work. And what I've been doing is I've been building another one of these 8-inch rollers right here. And this is something that I've got a whole series on. If you haven't seen it, you look back in my earlier videos from last year. I've got a whole series on building one of these 8-inch rollers right here. So I got another one I'm building. And instead of showing you building another roller, it's the same thing. There was a couple things that I figured I could throw on video to share in this week's video. One of them being indicating. I keep having a lot of guys not only compliment me on my indicating skills, thank you by the way, but I've had a bunch of guys keep asking me, will I do more video on indicating, show a little more in-depth and explanation about how to indicate in a 4-jaw chuck. That's what we're talking about here. So as I was getting ready to set this piece up, I figured I would go ahead and get the camera and show a little bit more indicating and slow the process down, kind of explain to you a little bit more in depth of what I'm doing and the proper ways to do it. So we've got that this week, a little bit of indicating, and we also, I took some video of doing some machining on this, and what I did was I tested out some other inserts that were sent to me. Mike Sapo, he sent me a bunch of CNMG inserts to try out, and I haven't tried them yet until I got started on this. So he sent me 3 or 4 different types of inserts, some Mitsubishi and some Sandvik. So I went ahead and pulled them out. I think I tried 3 or 4 different inserts just to kind of see the comparison on chips and finish and that kind of thing. So I think you guys will like it. It's kind of like another face-off series, a little bit of chip control. I got a couple other little extra shots to throw in there just to kind of see some machining going on this week. So that's going to be the content, is some indicating and some facing, okay? And I'm thinking, I'm hoping that this week coming up, I can get started back on the pump and get it over there and start hooking it back up on the lathe. I told you another thing I was waiting on was to score some hose, and I actually I was able to salvage this piece of 1-inch hose from work. This is an extra piece that we had laying around that wasn't being used anymore, and it was only used as an airline, so it's not dirty or anything. So I only need a couple little pieces of it, so I just cut a little section off and brought it home. This is some good quality hose right here. This is made by Goodyear, and anyway, that'll work right there for our coolant hose. So hopefully this week I can get over there and start hooking it back up. I still got to clean the sump out and that kind of thing. So maybe maybe next Saturday we'll show the pump reinstallation on the Monarch. Okay. I've also got plenty of viewer appreciation mail that came in. Got you know, 3 or 4 different things here that showed up. So we'll get to that. Got some neat stuff here and some really cool viewer appreciation items. So let me pull those over here and share them with you. And also, real quick, I want to give a couple plugs to a couple of my friends and viewers. One of them is James Green. He's started his channel here recently, I think a few weeks ago. He's also known as Eagle Dust Off 37. I'll throw the links up there so you can see it. But James Green's been posting a lot of videos in his little shop, doing his hobby work and gunsmithing work. And he's a good buddy and a good friend, and he's got some cool stuff going on over there. So if you have time, please go check out James Green's channel. I'm sure he'd appreciate that. Give him some likes and drop him a comment. I'd also like to throw out there Chuck over at Knolltop Farms. He's been a long-time viewer and always leaves great comments. And he started posting up some videos of some of his stuff going on over there too. So if you have time, go check him out also. That's Knolltop Farms. So anyway, I just wanted to give those 2 little plugs to some of my friends. They're starting to put videos up, and I enjoy watching them myself. So, all right, we'll go ahead and get some viewer appreciation mail and watch some chips flying. So you better get your safety glasses ready. Thought I'd try to get this in before it got too dark. So today is my birthday. I'm 35 years old today, and I decided for my birthday I'm going to buy me one of my favorite steaks. I'm going to grill it. I like a big, thick cut steak. So I got the grill going, and I got this grill at Christmas time, and I got it because you got a gas grill and a charcoal grill. This is the first time that I've ever used the charcoal side. And you can see the charcoal's going there. That's the real wood lump charcoal that I'm using. There's the bag right there. Cowboy brand hardwood lump charcoal. So I'm getting it up to temp now. And I'll spread it out once it gets all hot. And I wanted to show you my steak that I got. 2.1 pound ribeye. And those are 2 New York strips that I bought for Alana. Alana doesn't like a real big steak. She just likes a regular steak. So I guess maybe this is a regular steak to most people. But I wanted a big, thick cut steak. So what I decided to do, I've been trying to gauge these things on how thick they are. So brought out the Mitsubishi calipers, and we're going to measure how thick this steak is. There it is. I did clean these, by the way. Okay. So I'd say that's pretty close to 1 3/4 inches thick. Just a shy under. This is my birthday dinner to myself. I usually never make a big deal about my birthday, really. You know, something like this is why I like, you know, go buy me a steak, throw it on the grill and cook it. And tonight is the season premiere of American Horror Story. So I'm going to go watch that whenever I get through cooking my steaks. So thought I'd share that with you. Okay, our first viewer appreciation gift / birthday present comes to me from my good friend Gil. I came home Wednesday from work, and as I pulled up, I noticed this sitting by my shop door. It's a bottle of my favorite rum, Sailor Jerry, and so Gil bought me a bottle of my rum and brought it by, and you can see a little bit's missing out of there. He also brought me these guys right here. We got two of these little magnets that he made, And I remember a couple weeks ago he was machining these and sent me some pictures of them. And he made a few as gifts for other people, and he decided to give me a couple for my birthday. And these are awesome little magnets. He did a good job. Got the magnet pressed in there on the bottom, and it does a good job, man. I mean, these are very handy to have around the shop, posting up prints on your toolbox or whatever. You know, there's a lot of little uses for these things. So I've been needing to have some of these, and so I want to thank Gil for giving me 2 of these, and thank you for the birthday gifts, and they're going to come in handy. And by the way, man, you did a good job, man. Nice little design, and I like them. We put some good use. All right, next gift. We got a box of Tig Welding Rods right here. This was sent to me by Philip Schaefer, and he had sent an email after one of my videos. I had mentioned something about I was getting low on some TIG welding rods, so he said that he wanted to send me some TIG rods, so that's what he did. These are some of the ER70 S2 3/32 TIG rods, and thank you, Philip. I was down to like my last rod. Whenever I was doing that job there, I was scrounging trying to find some little short pieces to see if I had any left. But anyway, this would be great, and I'll put this over with my TIG rods. And thank you very much. They will come in handy. And thank you. This is an awesome gift, man. This next gift was a surprise. I didn't expect it to show up. This comes to us from Mr. Herb Blair out in Texas. And he sent me one of these telescoping magnets. In his note, he says, "I see that you need a mirror. Enjoy, Herb Blair." So yeah, that's another one of those things that I do it, you know, in my videos. I'm doing my work and I need a mirror. I used to have one of these, and it always stayed in Granddad's toolbox, and it got shuffled around, and I don't know where it's at. Every time I try to find it, I can't find it. So I have been meaning to buy one, and I even asked Elena to pick me up one whenever she goes shopping one day, and she just hadn't thought to pick me up one yet. So Herb, this is going to be a great tool to use, man. I really appreciate you sending me one, and you know, I'll put it over in the toolbox, and next time we have some indicating I need to use a mirror, I'll pull this one out and put it to some use. So thank you very much, man. Another great tool to add to the toolbox. You always need a good mirror to have around here. All right, so we're on our last box for this week's viewer appreciation, and this comes to us from Alan Brooker, and he's from Cambridge, New Zealand. So this come from a long ways away, and I believe this is my first package that I've gotten from New Zealand. And also, I believe Alan is also the one. He makes his own rum, and he was wanting to send me a bottle of his homemade rum, and I don't think that customs like that too much, so it got kicked back. So we didn't get the homemade rum. So he put together another package and sent to me. So I haven't opened all this stuff up yet. We'll go ahead and get to it, and I did pull his notes out and read his notes. And one of the things, I know one of these is going to be, it has something to do with gout therapy. Alan knows that I've got gout problems, and every now and then suffer a little bit of pain from that. So there's something in here that has to do with a natural gout remedy that he wanted me to try out. It says it works great. So we're going to pull that out and take a look at it. And we've also got something else in here I need to open up. So this is kind of a long personal note that he had wrote me, so I'm not going to read it all, but one of the items I'll share with you. He says, the first item you come to in this box is a set of screwdrivers, jewelers, that were my father's. I really have no use for them and thought you may like them as they are quite old and in good condition. Enjoy. They may come in handy to fix a GoPro or Atlantis jewelry. So, and then the other part goes into the other item that he sent there. So let's go ahead and check out the first box here. Okay. M&W. It's a nice case. Look at that. Very nice. This is actually a metal case, and it's lined with like a felt. It says Eclipse, made in England. Got some very fine, very fine tips on that one right there. So got some flatheads. Okay, these are all flatheads. So very cool vintage set of jeweler's screwdrivers. So thank you very much, Alan. Another really nice tool, man, and that case is great, man. Nice hard case. So thank you very much for that. We'll put that over there with our nice Steer-It tools in the cabinet, and they will be very much appreciated around here. Okay. So let's go ahead and get to the second box here, or the second item, I mean. And this one's a little, I don't think I've ever seen or messed with anything like this, and he explains all this in his note on how this is used, and I believe this is part of his business. I want to make sure there's some coils in here. Make sure I don't damage any of this now. All right. Well, I guess I should have done a little more reading on his note to explain what this is, but I've got to learn how to do this myself. But this is some type of apparatus here that you can use for gout pain, and I'm gonna have to read his letter and figure out how this works. But I know from what I read, it's something about you, I believe it sits like this, and there's some kind of, I believe he says there was a tablet of some sort that you have to put in here. Let me see. All right, I'll have to read your letter, Alan, and figure out how this works. But as I said, it has something to do with gout therapy, so I'll try to get this figured out, and we'll give it a shot. Okay, so I really appreciate you sending this. You know, gout pain is not something fun at all, and anybody that has gout pain knows what I mean. It's very painful and it hurts, and whenever you're dealing with it, you can't hardly walk. You can't even hardly move your foot. It hurts so bad. So definitely looking forward to trying this next time I need a little bit of therapy there. So thank you, Alan. I'll read your letter, and if I have any questions, I'll contact you about this and ask you how this thing works. So thank you very much. Very nice set of screwdrivers right there, and maybe we'll touch on this after I figure out how this is used and explain it to a little more depth. Okay. Thank you, Alan. Hey guys, so I've had a lot of viewers ask me if I can go into a little bit more detail on indicating parts in a 4-jaw chuck. Had a bunch of guys always comment about it, and that's why I've been trying to show a little bit more in the videos, because I know that a lot of people enjoy seeing that. And there's been a lot of talk out there on the channels about guys that are starting to use the 4-jaw chucks a little bit more, and that's great, because if you're going to do machine work, it's good to know how to use your 4-jaw chuck and indicate a part in. So what I decided I would do, I've got another piece of this 8-inch solid right here that I've got to turn into another roller, and that is a whole nother series that I posted on YouTube last year. If you're interested in that, you can go back and check that out. So I'm not going to be showing all of the machine work on this, but there is some things I am going to share. What this is going to be about is just doing some indicating. I was getting ready to set this up and drill a hole, so I thought, let's grab the camera and get a little bit closer in here, and I will try to slow things down for you and explain a little bit more in depth of what I'm doing and what's going through my mind as I'm indicating a 4-jaw chuck in. So as I said, this is a piece of 8-inch, and this is not cold rolled, so it's not on size. This is a little bit over. It's about 8 1/16. But what I had done is I set these jaws to 8-inch using my 12-inch scale, and this is how I do it. I mean, I just I'll get it set to 8 inches close as I can by sight, and then what I'll do is back off the top jaw and this front jaw facing me to give it clearance, so I can set the part in there and leave it, push it in there, and then come in and tighten these 2 jaws up to hold it. Okay. And whenever I set these, I'm always using these reference lines machined on the chuck, and I'm either using this corner here, the jaw, lining up with the groove, or if they're flipped around the other way, I'm using this end of the this corner here of the jaw lined up with usually one of these lines out here, and I'll make all 4 of them equal, and then I'll come in, grab my chuck key, and as I'm getting it close, you know, I'll go 1, 2, you know, and then flip it and go 1, 2 on the other jaw there. Do it equally so that it kind of keeps them, you know, in the center. So this should be, make sure I got enough room there. Last thing you want to do is, can't fit the part in there when you're trying to set it in. This is kind of heavy. Alright, so I'm going to set it in there and push it over. Tighten up that one. Alright, tighten up that one. I'm going to go ahead and just give all these a nice little snug. Okay. And you should be able to see there that we've got quite a bit of run out that I've got indicated in. Alright, I did a little bit of cleaning, got some of that surface rust off. And got the Noga here ready, and I'm going to use my steer dial indicator. Okay, so here is another example of some guys on a part like this. You can see that you've got low spots. This is not perfectly round. Okay, look, you got some you know, spots right there. Some guys would prefer to use a surface gauge up here and just watch that needle for run out against an edge like the OD, and I like to use my indicator. That's just my way of doing it, and also the way that I indicate is my preferred method. It's not that what I'm doing is the right way, it's the way that I do it, and that's what I want people to understand. This is just the way that I like to do things. Some guys like to come over here with 2 chuck wrenches and adjust that. I don't like doing that. This is too big of a chuck to be doing that. If you're on a little small lathe with a small chuck, I can see where that's helpful. So this is how I usually indicate, alright? I'm just going to, I've got a lot of metal that I've got to face off of this. We got about 3/4 of an inch, so we got a lot of face to do, and then I've got to turn this OD down. So if this part pushed back on that saw cut is running this way just a little bit, it's not going to hurt me. So that's what I'm going to do. I've got it pushed back against the jaws. I'm going to make a face cut on this after it's true, and make an OD cut, and we'll have a true area that I can chuck on and re-indicate after I do my drilling and flipping it around. Alright, so let's go ahead and start getting it indicated in. And I'm gonna pick a spot right behind all these little low spots right here. Okay, I had to take a break there for a sec. Alright, yeah, we got our Noga set up here. Okay, so we got basically about 95 thousandths of run out. And alright, so we'll just set that to 0. Okay, so about 90 thousandths. So this is going to be our high, and that is our low. So you'll be loosening your low and then tightening your high, because you want to push it, the high, so that's coming at you. You want to push it that way. When you're indicating on the OD like this, your low is counterclockwise and your highs are clockwise. So that's why I've said before, loosen your lows, tighten your highs. Okay, so we're going to come around to it to the low, but before I even do that, I want to go ahead and double check my jaw and make sure I got it tight. Okay, this one's a little bit on the high side, so I'm going to check that one. I'm going to come around here to the low. Alright, so it's closest to this jaw here, so I'll start with this one. I'm just going to bump it loose a little. I'm going to bring it 180, tighten out. Okay, there's our low. Just bump it loose. 180 out and snug it. Alright. So now we're kind of getting between these two, but I believe we're a little closer to this jaw, so we can continue to move that one. There's our high. There's our low. Let's try a different camera angle, see if I can get you a little bit closer. Hopefully the glare isn't too bad right there. I know if I shade it, you'll be able to see it a lot better, but we're just going to have to run with it, and hopefully you can see it. Okay, so there's our high. There's our high jaw. There's our low jaw. So again, I'm going to bump this one loose a little bit. Alright, bring it around to the high. Give it a snug. Alright, now we moved. Now we're on the other two jaws. So that's our low. There's our high. I'm going to loosen this one a little bit. Snug that one. I have to bring it up some so I don't hit the indicator holder here. I usually kind of rotate it to the top. Alright, and then earlier, I was talking about guys that use surface gauges, and that's because some of these materials are not perfectly round. And so you're not going to be able to get an absolutely true reading on this, but what you do is you center it. Whatever, 180 out, the two jaws, you want it running on the same number. Okay, so we're getting really close there. Actually, that's really close. So let's just call that 45. Let's call that one 44. See, it moves a little bit. So, we're basically there. We're basically centered on those two. Alright, so I'm going to pull the chuck around. We're going to go to the next jaw, alright? That's about 43. And we're on 50. So, this one's high. So we can snug that one a little bit. Now we're on what, about 46, 44, 45, so you can go a touch more, but I'm machining a bunch of this off, so it's not that critical to be any closer than what I already am. 45, 46, well, there it is. See, it depends on where you stop it, so I'll just bring it around somewhere close to this jaw and stop it. That one's a little bit lower than this one. Okay, I'd call that 45 on both of those. Give or take 0.2. Alright, 45 on that jaw, 45 on that jaw. Give or take a couple thousandths. Plenty close. Close enough. Okay, so that is that's how I indicate in a 4-jaw chuck, and this gives you a good example on indicating a part that's not perfectly round. As I said, we'll do some machining, so once I get through with my facing and drilling here, we'll make a turned area here, because I plan on putting this in the monarch lathe, so I'll flip it around, chuck it. We'll have a nice true place to indicate it back true. I'm getting ready to start machining this piece of 8-inch solid here, I want to make a nice face cleanup cut on it. I've got a lot of material here. We got probably about 11/16 of material that's going to come off of one of the faces there, you know, after one's cleaned up. All I'm doing here is I'm putting one of these inserts to the test that Mike Sapo gave me, and this was the package that he had sent right here. These are Mitsubishi Inserts, and he gave me a 431, 2, and a 3 to try out. And 431 is always my favorite insert, so I went ahead and stuck that one in there. I want to see how it does, but I believe that we're going to be testing probably maybe a 432 also whenever I get to the heavy facing that I got to do on this, and just see what kind of chip this gives us. And he also sent me some other inserts too in that viewer mill package, and I'm thinking about pulling one of those out and giving it a shot also. And I can't remember now if this is, I believe this was 1018 material, but it's a hot roll finish. I don't think this is 1045, but I may be mistaken. It's either 1018 or 1045. So let's go ahead and make a face cut and see how this fancy Mitsubishi insert does. I'm going to run at 370 RPM, and let's see the feed. We might try to kick it up a little bit here. We'll run 14 thousandths feed. I'm going to touch it off. Well, I'll just touch it off there. I'm going to dial in 50 thousandths. We'll make a cleanup cut. Making a nice tight chip. That was a really rough face there. That was the factory end of it. Well, it did a good job. Left a nice finish on it too. Still got some holidays. Yep, there's a few holidays in there, so we actually need to make another cut on that, so we should still have plenty of material there. Well, I'd say that insert did excellent. We've got a mirror finish on that part. Okay, looking good. $33. And again, this OD on this wheel is not critical at all. 33. So the you know, the diameter there, I don't have a set tolerance, but you know, it can be a little bit bigger, a little smaller. It's just a nominal size. So I think I'm just going to take 30 thousandths and call it done. So anyway, this was the first test of that Mitsubishi insert that Mike sent me. Wanted to give it a shot and see how it does. So, you know, it's working pretty good so far. And when I go over to the Monarch, we're going to do some facing and we'll try some heavier cuts with probably the 432 insert. I've been boring this roller out here, and I thought maybe you'd like some shots of this heavy boring that I'm doing. So we're going to get a couple shots of it. Alright, my boring bar, I'm using WNMG inserts, also known as a Trigon. And this insert here is the ISCAR IC8250, a lot like you've seen me using before. So I'm just taking some heavy cuts. I'm taking 200 thousandths per cut and a 14 thousandths feed rate. We're running 319 RPM, and I'm just roughing it out of there. Slinging some chips is what I'm doing. Alright, this is where we get to have a little bit of fun. Got to do a bunch of facing there. So we're going to test some inserts. Alright, so the first one right here, this is a CNMG 432, and this is the one that Mike gave me in this package here. We already tested the 431, now I'm going to use the 432. So I guess this part number here is UE6105. And it's an SA chip breaker. That's the 433, it's still in there. So we might make a cut or two with this one, and then I got another tool and a different insert we're going to try out. We're just going to kind of just play and experiment here and see what happens. Mike had sent me, I think, 3 different types of inserts for me to try. But I believe this one here, the one I just showed you, he says that they've had really good luck with, so they've been running this one. So that's why he, he just sent me one of each to sample them. I'm gonna see what I'm getting real quick, like. It's 20 thousandths per revolution right there. I'm going to start with a 50 thousandths. We know it'll do more, but you got to kind of build up to it, right? Alright, let's see. Alright, it's just a measly little 50 right here. Alright, not bad. It's slinging some chips and it's doing a good job there. I'm going to take another 50 and catch up to it, and then we'll be doing 100 there. Okay. I kind of like that. I can see from the tool pressure it kind of pushed back a little there once it caught up. So that did pretty good. Tell you what, let's go ahead and swap out the tool. Let's try something different. Alright, our next tool I'm going to try is this holder here that I haven't even used yet. It's still fresh and new. This is a Kennametal MCKNR 124B. It uses a CNMG insert, but it uses the other 4 corners that you don't normally use. So this is a great tool for all these inserts where you're turning, you chip the corner, you throw them in a pile, well, you've got 4 more corners you can use. And this is great for facing, or if you've got to, like on my hydraulic rods, if you got to come up and you need to machine a nice little taper there so that your seals can slide on, that's a nice angle right there that you can use. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and oh well, let's see, here's the inserts. Now, this is the pack that Mike sent me also. He says these are some that they used to use, they don't use it anymore because they found some better ones. It's also Mitsubishi, a UE 6110, and this is a 433. No, okay, I'm using a 432 right now. I had them mixed in that package because I sent somebody else some of these inserts to try. Maybe Eddie will speak up and let me know what he thinks about them. All right, let's start with a 50. Pretty good. Alright, let's take another 50 and catch up to it. We'll be coming up on 100 thousandths here. Alright, so with 100 thousandths, it did fine. I mean, it's breaking a chip and you're getting the job done. But you notice how they were popping back right here, and that's sometimes that has to do with your tool angle. You know, you've got to, because I got this tool position, you've got a natural lead-in angle on it already. So, okay. I've got one more insert that I want to try, so let me go grab it and we'll set it up. Okay, third insert we're going to try is this one here. Now this is a Sandvik insert. This was a brand new pack that Mike sent me. I just opened it up. So this is a CNMG 432. And you can see the numbers there. So I guess this is a 4215. It's a PF chip breaker. It's similar to that first one that we used, but it's a different brand, different part number. So I'm going to flip this tool holder back around like I had it. We'll start with 50. Alright, that's doing good. Let's take it to 100. Nice. I think I like that one right there now. That did a good job. Better side of the chips that's coming off of it. Alright, so that should leave me with about 300 thousandths. I was going to go ahead and take another cut before I turn the camera off here. 300 thousandths. And no, I'm not taking a 1/4 inch like I did before. That was a little too aggressive. So let's try a 1/8, okay? This is 125. good. The old Monarch was starting to stretch her legs there. Okay. Alright guys, well that's about it for the insert testing there. I'm going to go ahead and get this thing face to size, and I ain't got too much more to take now, and then I'll slow down my feed and, you know, make a nice finish on there. So anyway, I just wanted to say thanks again, Mike, for sending me all those inserts, man. They're great. And by the way, I did pass along a couple packs of those to another fellow YouTube viewer that was in need for some inserts for his work. So I sent some of those to him to let him try them out, and so that he'd have some more inserts to use. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that. Thank you. I was just showing you the finished cut right here. That was my finished facing cut. I took 25 thousandths to slow my feed rate down. I was using that Sandvik Insert. Did a really nice job. Super smooth finish. Looks good.